Hey everybody, welcome back to the PK Sportscast. I'm your host John, aka that PK boy, here with Caleb and Mango. How you guys doing today?
Doing great, man. Good to be back.
Doing great.
Good to see you, man. It's been a couple weeks since we've seen you, Mango. But we'll jump right on into this first segment, man. We're gonna throw you guys to the wolves right into this. Crazy week of NFL, man. A lot of really big games, but I think the one that everybody's talking about is Minnesota going into Buffalo. Minnesota squeezes out a win, 33-30, giving the Bills the second loss in a row. We kind of talked about it last week. We asked, should we start taking Minnesota seriously? And we had a lot of skeptics for certain reasons. So the question I've posed for us today is, do you trust Kirk Cousins to lead the Minnesota Vikings on a Super Bowl run? Marengo, welcome back, bud. I'm throwing you in on this one first, man. What do you think on that?
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's good to be back. But it is an astounding no. Like, man, I can't believe you asked that. I think the Vikings are a great team. They are stacked in damn near every position except for quarterback. They're going to be the regular season MVP. Kirk Cousins, he is what he is. He's a game manager. He's not the guy that's going to get you past a good team in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's been great throughout the first half of this year, and I'll give him props where props are due. But come on, man. Come on. Are you going to sit there and tell me that Kirk Cousins, you're going to pick him out of all the teams in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl? He's going to take that whole team to the promised land, because no matter how much you want to put it, say it's a whole team, it's on the quarterback. It's on the quarterback. In this league, you either make passes or you don't, or you have Derrick Henry in the backfield. So they don't have Derrick Henry in the backfield, and they're relying on Kirk Cousins. They've got Dalvin Cook, who is damn good in his own right, don't get me wrong. But he can't carry the whole team. He can't carry the whole team. When you got Justin Jefferson out here making acrobatic catch after acrobatic catch, looking like just Randy Moss came down and just got made a clone. I don't know, man. Just ripping balls out of defenders' hands with one arm. Man, they look damn good. But when they run into a good team in the playoffs, I think they're going to be 1 or 2 and done. And that's just going to be a wrap until they can get that quarterback room figured out.
Listen, Marengo, it's a very good thing to have you back, my brother, because I think you're going to be the only one on the show that has my back on this. Listen, John, you have to, in today's league, you have to have at least a Jimmy Garoppolo to get to a Super Bowl, let alone win one. And also, you need a quarterback that has more. You look at me like that, and Kirk Cousins, how many playoff wins does he have in his life? Can you think of it? He has one. He has one playoff win in the wild card. It was against New Orleans in 2020. That was the last. That's the only W that Kirk Cousins has in his arsenal. Now, as Marengo said, yeah, he'll be a regular season. They can be the best team in the regular season, but what are they going to do in the postseason? They're not going to do. I'm not taking Kirk Cousins over Mo. You can write that down. Write that down, please, because I'm not taking Kirk Cousins over any of the other top QBs in the NFC. I'm not. I know they can have the best regular season record all they want, but Kirk Cousins does not. You have to have a strong quarterback. And you know what? Kirk Cousins is very talented. I'm not saying I can go out there and do any better. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But as history shows it, he is not a very good playoff performer. He's not going to take you there. He does, like Mango said, he's more of a game manager role. He does what he needs to do to take dubs, but that doesn't translate over into the postseason. I'm with Marengo on this. I do not see. I still don't have faith in Kirk Cousins at the quarterback position.
Okay. All right. Well, I know I'm the moderator here, and I generally try not to get involved in these. But, since you guys both have the same idea, I'll just jump in on this one. You dug yourself a hole. the moment that you uttered Jimmy G, Caleb, because you know how critical I've been on this show about Jimmy G. You know, and I already. Oh man! All right, guys,
Has
here
Jimmy
we go.
G taking the team to the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, but listen, we're talking about a team that is stacked at everything but quarterback, right? We said the same shit when Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl, right? They had Kittle, they had a good run game, they had a really good defense. They were the team to beat. Minnesota looks like that right now. Right now, the NFC's got a lot of kind of new teams going out there that have also proven they don't do much in the playoffs. Right now, Philly is the number one team in the NFC. We don't really know what we're going to see from those guys. Those aren't the same Eagles that won a Super Bowl 5 years ago. You've got Dallas. They've proven that they aren't the team to be in the playoffs. They have, like, Dak Prescott has one more win than Kirk Cousins, right? And he's had the Cowboys on his side. I'm just saying, like, anything can happen when you get here, and Kirk Cousins is not one of the worst in the league. Let me talk to you about a couple of things here. Kirk Cousins, all right, before I even get into this, how good of a quarterback do you need to make it to the Super Bowl? Do you need a guy who's middle of the pack? Do you need a top 10 quarterback, a top 5, top 3? What do you think to make a Super Bowl run? How good does your quarterback have to be?
Caleb, you just said that you would not take Kirk Cousins over any other top quarterback in the NFC. And John, you mentioned the Cowboys. I would gladly take Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott to finish out the rest of the season. 100%. 110%.
Okay, hold on.
Hold
on. Let's stick a pin in that because I definitely want to talk about that. I wish Knock was here for that one, man.
Oh, me too.
But we're going to go ahead and give him something to talk about next week. Pin in that one. But all I'm like, give me a number out of the 32 starting quarterbacks. What number or higher does your quarterback need to be to make a playoff run?
Like, just make it to the playoffs or make a run
we're asking about today about a Kirk Cousins making it to the Super Bowl. You said you need to have a certain caliber of quarterback. What caliber of quarterback is that? Give me a rank. Top 10, top 5, middle of the pack. What does that need to be?
I mean,
with a team like Minnesota, if you just told me a number out of the top however many quarterbacks this season, what number are you throwing that you can plug in at Minnesota to make a run?
All right. I think if Minnesota had a quarterback like Justin Herbert, for example, they could.
You fucked up. So you're going with Justin Herbert. You're going with Jimmy G. All right, guys, I got something for you. So Kirk Cousins right now is 7th in passing yards. 7th in passing yards. All right. He is 9th in passing touchdowns. All right. That's better than Aaron Rodgers, Tua. That's better than Jalen Hurts. It's better than Lamar Jackson. It's better than Jimmy G. And it's damn for sure better than Justin Herbert. Barely. Justin Herbert is 8th and 10th on these lists. So what you're saying is if Justin Herbert can do it, Kirk Cousins can fucking do it. And I don't even like the Vikings like that. I don't hate them for any reason. Not a huge Kirk Cousins fan at all. I'm just saying the guy has the stats. He's playing well this year. Does he do it? Does he do it pretty? Not all the time. He had a pretty bad interception that he threw in this game against the Bills as well. And the other thing that he has too is, it is a team sport. He just has to do enough to get to the Super Bowl. He has Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver in this league, other than the one that we're going to get to here in a moment. Then you've got Adam Thielen, who before Justin Jefferson showed up, we talked about as a number one guy. So they've got two really good receivers. They got Dalvin Cook, who's a maybe 10th, 11th in the league in running back position, maybe even higher because he doesn't really do a committee run. I'm just saying they got a really solid team. They got a middle of the pack defense. They can get it done. I think that Kirk Cousins can do it. And because I have to throw a shot to Bills Mafia because I love y'all on social media, he also has less interceptions and fumbles than Josh Allen. So he's a top tier quarterback, bro. Like Kirk Cousins,
a top tier quarterback in the first half of this season.
In the regular season,
I'm just saying, if he plays at this caliber, he doesn't play at this caliber every season though, and they haven't had a team at this caliber. They're 8-1. They're all but guaranteed to be a top 4 seed in the NFC, no matter how the rest of their season goes, because Green Bay ain't going to do it, right? Detroit ain't going to do it. Chicago ain't going to do it.
They are a great team, and they have gotten a little bit better. But all last year, we were talking about the Vikings and how they're one score away from winning all these games. And the difference this year is that one score is going in their favor. 7 out of the 10 games so far this year, that's been a one-score game. So, yes, they have figured something out, but they're not much different of a team than they have been in the past.
But they're winning close games, because we know teams that don't win close games that don't get credit when it comes playoff time, like the Bills.
Tell you,
they don't win close games.
By the end of the year, the Vikings are going to make the playoffs. But they're not going to go far. It's not going to happen. I love the Vikings lineup. I love everything about it. They have talent everywhere, man. It's just
I'm
not going to happen
Marengo,
at the quarterback position.
Yes, he does. He has all these stats. He has all these weapons. It's awesome, but he has not shown anything in the postseason. He gets to the postseason and he doesn't do anything. That's where I'm going off. I'm not saying.
Tell me this.
Bad.
He meets Tom Brady this year in the playoffs. Who you got taking that? And I'm not talking
Brady
right now. I'm not talking right now Buccaneers. I'm talking the postseason Buccaneers we know are going to show up.
I said on this show, you picked the one team that I was going to say. Like I said on this show, that the Buccaneers at 4-5, when I said it, could still make a playoff run because they have Tom Brady. So yes, you're right in that aspect. But if we're just going off of history, what you're saying is Tampa Bay or the Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl, because there's no other top caliber quarterback in the NFC right now that looks like they're going to make a Super Bowl run, unless it's Jimmy G or Jalen Hurts. That's who else is going to do it? Jalen Hurts hasn't even proven that he's a top tier quarterback yet. I love him. I'm actually a Philly fan. I'm actually a huge Hurts fan, and I think he's balling. He's got a bunch of different ways he can play the game, but I don't know, the way that the Vikings are using Kirk Cousins, I think is going to work. But we could go back and forth on this all day. We do got to move on to another subject that I'm dying to get into. We're talking about top tier players, things like that. Obviously, I'm big on Kirk, but I'm not going to say he's an MVP or anything, right? So when we're talking about an MVP, we generally think of a quarterback. Every once in a while, if you've got a Derrick Henry, you got to consider him, right? But usually it's quarterback award. But should we start considering wide receivers like Tyreek Hill? Is it time to talk about Tyreek Hill when it comes to MVP talks? Caleb, I want to throw this one to you first.
Unfortunately, if I'm a Tyreek, which I still am a Tyreek fan, it's a quarterback's league. The last time a non-quarterback won an MVP award was Adrian Peterson in 2012, and even that, it took a 2,000-yard season in order to get that. So, not saying that it shouldn't at least be considered. It should definitely be considered, because Tua, while a very solid quarterback, he's having a breakout season, and I give a lot of thanks to Tyreek Hill. The joke we always used to say, fuck it, Tyreek's down there somewhere, throw it. I don't think that's. I don't know. It's tricky, because yes, Tyreek Hill should be mentioned in a conversation of MVP. I think it would be great if he did win an MVP. He's not going to. It's a quarterback's league. And while he himself is on pace to have similar to those kind of numbers that Adrian Peterson did back in 2012, I just don't think the way the game is played today, I think it almost, unless it's just like this revolutionary, generational, once in a lifetime talent that's playing at that position outside of quarterback, I just don't see anybody but a quarterback winning it. That's all the talk is. You see media, quarterback. I think there's a reason that is. I don't know. I've thought long and hard about it. I think it would be cool to see Tyreek, player of that caliber, win MVP. I just don't see a non-quarterback winning. Marengo, what do you think, man?
You're exactly right. Wide receivers don't win MVP. I root for Tyreek to win that MVP. That would be awesome. But you know why he's not going to win it this year? because we just extended the schedule and the passing yards record's going to get broken. And whoever breaks it's going to win MVP. So as of right now, I would say your front runners, Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady.
Ooh, Tom Brady.
I know Tua's up there right now, and it's great to see that. But the top two passers in the league right now are Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. And, man, I mean, you see the jersey in the background. You know who I'm rooting for, and you know who's going to take it. But I mean, come on. Do you have an argument for me? I mean, with the extended schedule and the record that's going to get broken, I mean...
I know it's going to come back on me at some point, John. I do apologize. I know a couple weeks ago, I brought up that I think this was Josh Allen's MVP year. And I will say after these last couple of weeks, I don't know if I would put money on that. It's looking pretty bad.
If he would have stayed consistent, he would have had an argument. But if
Patrick
Mahomes keeps playing like he is, I really don't see anybody contesting him for MVP.
John, it looks like you want to say something here. What you got?
I mean, I'm not going to argue with Marengo. Mahomes is easily the leading MVP runner right now. So I want to get that out first so that no one twists anything I'm going to say next, because Patrick Mahomes is easily the front runner at the moment. The guy's on pace to have over 5,600 yards, which would break the record. And I agree with Marengo, the first person to break the record, whether it be through an extra game or not, is probably going to get the MVP, especially in a quarterback's league, right? We've seen MVPs that sometimes we question. I mean, this dude, Derrick Henry, had a 2,000-yard season and didn't win it, so why would we give it to Tyreek, right? I get it. What I think where I stand on it is if Tua's in the conversation, then Tyreek's damn for sure in the conversation. That's my viewpoint on it. If, like,
I agree.
Tom Brady's second in passing yards, so I get why you'd say him. If he turns that team around and makes a playoff run, he's got a good fucking argument too.
He's going to.
Yeah, like, he's gonna have a good chance at it. Tyreek, this is a subject we wanted to talk about last week, but it got pushed to this week, and now he just had a 44-yard week. So another one or two of these, he ain't gonna get it, right? But he's already over 1,100 yards. I think if he breaks 2,015 tutties, he's got 4 right now. If he pulls out 11 tutties in this back half of the season with another 1,000 yards, I think he's got a conversation going, as long as Mahomes isn't on pace still for 5,600. I mean, if it ends up being a 5,000-yard passing yard season for any quarterback, and Tyreek's got 2,115 tutties, that might be hard to talk about anybody else. And the reason I feel that way about Tua too is because I did some research on, because we all watch Tyreek Hill play. The dude's yards after catch are phenomenal. Out of his 1,100 yards, over 350 of them are after the catch. So a third of his production is after the catch. And that may not seem like a ton but like really think about, he's had if he has a few deep balls thrown to him, 50, 60 of those yards are on the catch, and he's still got to finish up. So like a lot of those don't even count. He's got a couple Hail Marys I saw he caught basically at the end zone, but I mean, he's the king of catching a 5-yard slant and turning it into a 64-yard touchdown, or, even a gain. I mean, the dude is just an animal. To have 350 yards after catch right now is insane. The dude is unlike anybody that we've ever seen play this game. He's going to definitely be a Hall of Famer. I wish he was still on the Chiefs. I enjoy watching him play. And I think the winner of MVP should be someone who, of course, has the accolades, but also is just a phenomenal talent that we love to watch. So if he can make his stats match what I think he can, yeah, you got to talk about it. But would I put my money on it? No. Y'all got anything else on this one?
No, I'm sorry. I thought Marengo had something to say. That's my apology. And that's it brings me back to the point of, just like you said, he can do all this, and yet it's still only a discussion of having a non-quarterback in the discussion of being an MVP. Like, and that's the crazy part to me. That's unfortunate for other players that don't play quarterback, but it's only a discussion. The odds of that happening, even if you have a monstrous season, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And
2,115 tutties. Tell me that's not an MVP.
but
I agree with
just
you.
like
That
you
is
said, you still
100%
wouldn't
an
put money
MVP.
on it.
It's 100%
Yeah,
an
it is.
MVP, but it's a quarterback ran league.
I mean, he'd also have to turn on the Jets, dude. I mean, they're 10 games in. They got 7 left. If he had 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns in the next 7 games, I mean, shit. Yeah, you got to give it to him. Because they'll probably be the 2 seed still at that point if that happens. So
I think it's even crazy we're having the discussion. That's just how good of a player Tyreek Hill is. It's just unfortunate that he won't. I don't even think he'll be considered now, unless he does pull off a monstrous season, like you said, maybe. But
hey, closing statement on oh, sorry. Go ahead, Marengo. Go ahead.
No, if he cracks 2,000 yards, I think he has a very, very good conversation for MVP. But but I'm telling you, if somebody throws 5,600 passing yards, that's I mean, it's a toss up right there, and the quarterback's gonna win.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, I don't agree with why, but I agree that it'll happen. No, closing statement on this one, though, is I'll say everybody said you had 2 different arguments all off season. You had Patrick Mahomes ain't going to be shit without Tyreek, and you had Tyreek ain't going to be shit with Tua. They were really both of those going on, and I think it's just a fact now. I mean, we knew it at the time, but now we officially know that what we got to witness for 4 seasons with Mahomes and Tyreek, we had 2 of the best players to ever touch a football field on the same team. These are people that change entire teams with their mentality and just the way that they do things, their skill level, like 2 generational talents on one squad. I'm thankful we got to have it. Thankful we got a Super Bowl from it, but man, I am so impressed with both of these guys this season. But that's all I have to say on that. Let's go ahead and recap how the 2 early predictions went. Caleb and I finally had a good week. Finally, we closing up this gap just a little bit, man. So Caleb and I both had 4.5 points this week. Most of them we've had most of these damn weeks. Knott came in third with 2 points, and then Marengo had 1. Marengo, I thought it was funny too, because the way Marengo got 1 point was he tied. He had a tiebreaker with 2 people, so he ended up taking a half. That's why me and Caleb both have half points. We actually split with Marengo on a game. So that was funny. But I'll run through this. So, of course, Kansas City beat Jacksonville. I took the point there. It was really weird, honestly. I kind of took all the morning games, and then Caleb cleaned up the afternoon and evenings. So I took the Carolina Atlanta on Thursday night. It was 25-15. I guess 24-14. Come on, guys. Who would have ever guessed 25-15, man? Like, give me my 5 points for one of these perfect scores already. Tampa Bay beat Seattle. I could have guessed that one a long time ago. Sadly, it was very close, though. I was the only one to guess Minnesota to beat Buffalo, so I'm proud of that one because I believe in Kirk. I believe. Knott came through and got the point for Detroit over Chicago. He got the point for Miami over Cleveland. And then Marengo and I tied on the Giants over Houston. And then this is where Caleb cleans up. Caleb got the point for Pittsburgh over New Orleans. He got the point for Tennessee over Denver, Indy over the Raiders. And he was the only one. I'm sorry, he tied with Marengo on the Indy over Raiders. They both were off by the same amount of points. And then he was the only one to guess Green Bay to upset Dallas this week. So congratulations, Caleb.
I did not know that.
Yep, only one there. All of us were wrong. Arizona upset the Rams. We all picked the Rams in one way or another. Caleb cleaned up again. He got the San Francisco over the Chargers. And then all of us, we're not going to talk about it too much today, but damn, man, fucking Philly lost to Washington. None of us guessed that to happen, even in the preseason. So Anyways, the season totals right now. You've got Knock still with a hefty lead. He's at 41 points on the season. You got Marengo in second place with 33. I'm right on your ass though, Marengo. I'm in third place with 30 and a half. So I'm 2.5 back. And then Caleb is at 25 and a half. So he's still playing some catch up there. But as y'all know, man, it takes 1 week. So we got 7 of these bad boys left. I'm ready. I'm feeling good. Coming back. We'll see what ends up happening. We just got a slow knockdown. Before I move on to the next topic too, I was digging into some crazy stats this week on all of our too early predictions, guys, and I noticed something extremely interesting. Caleb actually is like the best guesser of games in this podcast. Believe it or not, this man is in last place in our too early predictions, but I've discovered that is only because of his scores. His scores are off, but he's actually guessed most of these games correctly over all of us. And I just had to give him a shout out here. Marengo, Knock, and I all have 3 teams as of right now each that we have their record guessed exactly at this point in the season. Caleb has 10. He guessed the Chiefs at 7-2, Chargers 5-4, Vegas 2-7, Baltimore 6-3, Miami 7-3, New England 5-4, Jacksonville 3-7, Arizona 4-6, Philly 8-1, and Carolina 3-7. This dude's actually a monster, but you can't guess the fucking score right. I just wanted to give him a shout out.
I gave way too many teams. I gave way too many teams too much praise on offense. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's crazy because I think next season we might see a change with Caleb. He might mess around and win next year like this, but had to throw that one out there for you, buddy. Threw you a little
appreciate it.
Olive
Gives
branch
me a little
back
bit of
there
a lift
last. But anyways, guys, our next segment, we'll go ahead and jump in. It's unfortunate Knock isn't here to defend him, but we'll ask: do you guys still believe in Dallas after losing to whatever the hell Green Bay's team is this year? Marengo, I'll throw this one to you, man. What do you think, man? Is Dallas for real or what?
Dude, I just told you I was going to take Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely not, man. Dallas is Dallas. They're the same team as Denver. They're the same team as Seattle. They're going to be great in the regular season. They have a bunch of talent, but when they run into a good team, they're going to get sent back to Dallas packing. It's just the way they are. And listen, I don't know why. Because Dallas on paper has one of the best teams and one of the deadliest teams. That roster is filled with talent, and yet they cannot do shit. It happens every single year. And right now, I wouldn't trust Dak Prescott to throw away my garbage. Dude, I understand he had an injury. Get him off the field and bring back fucking Jacob Rush, dude. Or whatever the hell this kid's name was.
Cooper Rush.
Jacob Rush, fucking Cooper Manning. I don't care. Get him off the field, man. Because this dude is not it. He's not it. And I'm sorry. I know they paid him an asinine amount of money. And I feel bad for all the Dallas Cowboys fans because I really wish you could trade this man away and go pick somebody up in the draft, because he's not going to take you to the promised land. He's going to be the same guy that he has been the past few years, and he's going to take you really, really far in the regular season. He might make it look like he's going to go for the run, and this is the year. Yeah, we them boys. And then you're going to get sent home in the wild card round. That's just who the Cowboys are. I can't tell you why, because they look like a deadly team. They really do. They have so much talent on their roster, but they can't put it together. I have no faith in the Dallas Cowboys, but I'll tell you who I do have faith in. But I'll pass it on. I'll pass it on after this, but I'll tell you who I do have faith in. The 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. That's who I have faith in.
Oh, man. We'll get to that, dude. Hold on, man. This man said he'd take Kirk Cousins over Dak Prescott so quick. Oh, man. Okay, Caleb.
And that's, I'm not going to quite go in on that. I think that's crazy. not in a bad sense, Marengo. I'm sorry. I'm still dumbfounded. Okay. Anyway, reeling it in. You said that when Dallas comes across a good team, they're going to end up losing. On what planet is Green Bay considered a good team this season? That's also what I'm
right.
like. It's and they still lost. Unfortunately, I think this is going to be one of those situations for Dak. I think people are going to start looking at him differently. This is going to be a season where, a lot of these wins came from a backup quarterback. Cooper Rush did what he had to do to make sure that Dallas was winning games. Dak comes back and you lose to a Green Bay team who we have, for the most part, we all have dogged on all season. And I get the game was in Green Bay, but if you're Dallas, that's a game you have to get up for. And they just didn't. Dak Prescott, I see, you got me still tripping. Dak Prescott, excuse me, he had 265 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, but he also had 2 ugly interceptions. That's not if Dak Prescott, he's got to look in the mirror, he's got to do something. Again, I'm not saying I'm a professional football player, especially quarterback. I am absolutely not. I couldn't do anything that these dudes do on the field. But if he wants to be looked at as a top tier quarterback, or at least a tier beneath it, somebody that can get you somewhere in the playoffs, he's got to get up for this game, and he's got to win this in Green Bay, especially with how bad Green Bay was this year. I mean, at least they look decent against Dallas, but I was praising Dallas's defense and whatnot all season long, and they come into a Green Bay team that doesn't look like they're very interested. At least Aaron Rodgers doesn't, and they lose. I mean, that's just a game you have to get up for, and I think there's going to be a lot of implications for Dak moving forward. Like, I think there's going to be some talk of, what can Dak really get us there? I think they might be looking. I think there's going to be a lot of chit chatter next season about trying to get another quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. John, looks like you were wanting to get in something there. What do you say? I'm sorry. What do you think about Dak? I know if Knock were here, he would be chewing my ass right now. But I'm gonna leave that for next week. John, did you have anything to say on that?
Dude, Dak ain't it, bro. I like Dak. I really do. Okay. He's a good dude. Seriously, like on a personal level, great guy. I enjoy like watching them struggle, I guess. So maybe I sound a little biased, but I mean, Dak has more losses than Cooper Rush does, and Cooper Rush has played more games. That's all I'm saying, bro. I mean, like, you playing against a Green Bay that people are saying, like, they look bad. They're in the press. Got Aaron Rodgers complaining about his teammates, talking about all sorts of craziness. And y'all, like, you can't convert a 4-3 at the end of the game, but they shouldn't even been in the position. Like, I'm not even going to argue that they should have kicked the field goal into the win. I don't know. Like, just overall, they just don't look the same now that Dak came back. I'm not going to say that their season's over more than it normally is because it's the fucking Cowboys, all right? I'm just going to say what I'm feeling, man. Listen, the Cowboys do this every damn season. I've been telling you all this. Last year, they were 6-1. You know what they ended up being this year? 6-1. And that's where it all turns around, boys. And that's what we're seeing right now, the same shit that we saw last year and the year before that and the 18 years before that. They ain't going to do a damn thing. I've been telling y'all they're going to end this season 12-5, 13-4, whatever. They ain't going to be 13-4. That'd be a crazy run. But they're gonna go in there. They'll probably, if not win the division, they'll get the 5th seed, right? Because Philly's right there too. I don't know, but they honestly don't have a lot of wiggle room. Giants are looking good too, and they're right on their ass. So either way, Dallas is gonna go. They're gonna lose a wild card game like they normally do. I'm not too worried about it. They're fun to watch, but yeah, there's really not much to say here. They're also coached by Mike McCarthy. I don't believe in him either. So. I don't know. It's Jerry's world, man. Listen, the day that Jerry gets a freaking Super Bowl trophy in the 2000s is the day that we all just die. Like, I don't know. We all keel over. Like, World War III will start whenever Jerry Jones wins the fucking championship. All right? Like, I don't know what else to say. I wish Knock was here because I don't have any. Like, I'm right there with you guys. They're not it. They're not.
I would be very curious.
It's the new phrase I've been seeing on the internet. He's not him. He's not him. Dak is not him. I don't even
He's
want to talk
not.
about this shit anymore. So I'll tell you, here's something
enough.
that we can talk about then, because Marengo kind of hinted at this too with what he was saying. You know, Philly and Dallas both lost this week in some ugly ass games to some ugly ass teams. But you know, hey, Minnesota's winning though. All I'm saying, who's the team to beat in the NFC? We kind of were talking about this before. You know, I asked, is it Minnesota? You guys don't think so. Philly just lost to Washington. Dallas just lost to a shitty Green Bay team. Who is the team in the NFC right now? If there was one team that you had to put all of your money on right this second, who's winning this shit? Who's going to the Super Bowl?
San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers, and I'll tell you why.
That trade,
They went.
McCaffrey.
No, they traded for a running back they didn't need. They spent dumb money. And that's why Nick Bosa is not going to be on their team next year. But we'll get to that. But the running backs were doing just fine. They were both averaging damn near 100 yards per game, and they went and signed a running back for 6 years. I think it was 6 years they signed him for. Why? But anyways.
To make sure that their medical staff had something to do.
I guess. But come on, man. This same 49ers team just came off a conference championship run where they lost to the Rams. And I'm telling you right now, every game they've played, they still look deadly. Every game short of the ones Trey Lance played in, surprisingly. But since Jimmy G has come back, that offense looks just as good as they did last year. That defense looks deadly. They added Christian McCaffrey, who can come out of the backfield and just do anything when he's healthy. Man, the best team in the NFC.
You talking about the same Jimmy G that walked out the back of the end zone to give the Denver Broncos one of their only 3 wins this season?
Don't worry about that, man. He's getting back. He was getting back into the groove. You know,
his one game, his one half of football, he was benched.
I let it slide. Okay.
Hey, maybe if they had Kirk Cousins.
You're getting just too far. This same 49ers team. I can't even right now.
I threw him off with that one.
Train of thought. Yeah,
I threw him off with that one.
God.
He's gonna have nightmares tonight of Kirk Cousins in a fucking 49ers jersey going, "You like that?"
Man, he'll be on a plane shirtless with his chains on.
Let's rock.
Hey, hold up. We should, we could all hit that. That could be our new intro to the show. You think?
No.
We do the Kirk chains.
Listen, in all seriousness, though, I do firmly believe in the 49ers. I think that defense is just as deadly as they were last year, and they just added talent in Charvarius Ward. They're a deadly team. They're a deadly team, and to me right now, they look like the team that wants it the most. Out of everybody I've seen play in the NFC, they come out with grit every single week, and they come out and punch you in the mouth. And that's who's going to go far in the playoffs. So right now, my money's on San Francisco.
And I would agree. I think before I would have said Philly. If I had to put money on somebody coming out of the NFC, and I know their record looks good, I know that they're the brand new toy on the block, but I'm gonna have to go San Fran too, man. They can still run the game, they can still run the ball down your throat. The defense is looking immaculate, and then they just added, don't forget Christian McCaffrey. I know he's got to remain healthy, but if he is healthy, I just think that they're the team that, as constructed right now, if we were to put these two teams, Philadelphia and 49ers, in a game at a neutral site, I think the Niners would probably win by 2 scores. I think that team is just better constructed. And, Philly, to me, they have the best chance. They have a very bright looking future. But out of the two teams as of right now, I think the Niners are constructed better. And I think the NFC, I think it's going to be the Niners.
I do want to go ahead and say, just on record, I don't think any team that was able to get Christian McCaffrey lost. I think the 49ers definitely gained in the Christian McCaffrey trade. They just got to keep him healthy. If they can keep him
that's
healthy,
all it is.
Great.
Yeah.
But don't let him get hit too often, I guess. Keep him limited on snaps. I mean, that's about the only way to try and guarantee that.
John, you look bothered.
I'm not bothered much. So, I mean, yeah, sure. San Francisco looks pretty good. I'll admit they're one of the top teams in the NFC that we should be afraid of. They've got playoff experience. They want it. They've been upset since 31-20, right? But they're injury riddled right now. They're having some struggles. They did sign McCaffrey. That's a big pickup. But like Marengo said, they already kind of had a run game established. And I just don't have faith in Jimmy G, bro. I don't. The man closes his eyes when he's about to get hit. The man steps out of back of end zones, bro. We haven't seen that since Dan Orlovsky. I just don't. I feel about Jimmy G the way that Marengo feels about Kirk Cousins. Well, that's my best analogy that I can make. I don't fucking trust him. All right? I don't. He's not that dude. And sadly, he's my fantasy quarterback right now because Matt Stafford became a joke. But anyways, with that said, that division is wide open. I think they've got a great chance of winning it. I mean, Seattle is winning that division right now, and we said they'd be throwing the season. So Arizona looks dookie. The Rams are in shambles. Matt Stafford ain't playing. Cooper Kupp just went on IR. That's basically my whole fantasy team. Trust me, I'll tell you from experience, they're done. They're not doing anything. They're not making any noise. So, yeah, San Francisco will probably win that division. But I think there's some better teams out there, some with a little bit more experience, a lot of experience. I think Tom Brady. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Because, like you said, you just got to make the playoffs, and you got to have a really good quarterback. So, you know, Tom Brady can go 8-9 and win that division this
year.
And
unfortunately, he's going to win that division by default.
Yeah, by default, he's got a 4 seed or higher, right? So Tom Brady's going to be in there. He's going to get a free wild card week against a worse team. And honestly, I think he's got, for the first time in a long time, a chip on his shoulder all of a sudden. His divorce is final. He's done. He's ready to go. He looks like his head's in the game. People started doubting him. When was the last time Tom Brady was a real underdog? I don't know. The season that he first went to Tampa, oh shit, he won a Super Bowl. The time before that was probably when he got a 4-game suspension. Oh shit, he won the Super Bowl. I'm just saying, if I had to put money on it, I know that he's actually who both of y'all have going to your Super Bowls and your 2 early predictions. I'm going to stick with those for what you guys have. I can't say no to Tom Brady because this is the most open the NFC has been. And if you look at all the best teams right now, they are not playoff experienced like that, except for arguably San Francisco. So I see why you went there. They got too many injuries, man. And I just don't believe in Shanahan.
I hate that you brought that up. I really do. It hurt my heart because I don't disagree with you. And that's what is so frustrating about the whole situation is that I know Tom Brady's going to win that division and I know he's going to be in the playoffs.
By default. That's what's irritating.
And it's absolutely asinine and ridiculous that he has a 4-seed or higher no matter what. You know?
Dude, he's also got all of his pieces still. They just need to get their shit together. If they just click, they have 2 months to get it together. Mm-hmm. And let's not forget that even though he's going to essentially be what a Sammy Watkins was for the Chiefs, they still have Julio Jones, and he might be like Gronk was for him and fuck around and have 2 Super Bowl touchdowns. They got a team. They just got to get it together.
Them 2 touchdowns ain't going to be shit when Kansas City meets them there.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I see. I ain't gonna, now we ain't gonna talk about the AFC. AFC looks good right now. AFC's got a lot of teams good that always been good, plus a crazy Miami squad. NFC's blown wide open right now, which makes it so interesting. So it's kind of crazy that we're talking about a 5-5 Tampa team still being a really big contender. But I mean, yeah, a lot of inexperienced teams. I mean, I love Philly. They're my second team. Every year I root for a Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl, but I'm just being an unbiased fan when I say, like, look at who they've been playing. Look at the game that they just lost. Are they ready for the playoffs? Because you only get one. You don't get any leeway. You can't lose a game and bounce back. You lose a game, you go home. But
I'm sick to my stomach right now. But anyway,
so you guys still going with San Fran though? You're both still going with San Fran.
I'm riding with San Fran, but I do just really quick want to touch something that we touched earlier in the show, where you had asked what caliber quarterback it would take to get you to a Super Bowl, and I've been thinking about this the whole show, and it really bothered me that I said Jimmy Garoppolo could take the 49ers, and I didn't say Kirk Cousins could take the Vikings, because I did a little bit of research before I got onto the show today, and I did write down some of the star players and the key lineups and some of the things for both teams, right? And honestly, man, the Vikings roster takes a game manager to get them anywhere because their defense is solid. They're solid in all their talent positions. It's literally just the quarterback and maybe a couple offensive linemen. So, I mean, I don't want to go full rescind that Kirk Cousins could take the Vikings to the Super Bowl, and I'm not, but I do think that he could. I do think that I
can sleep tonight. I can sleep tonight knowing you said that.
You have sold me.
I got it on recording. Caleb, it's over. Caleb, I got it.
Caleb, listen, these are just the people I wrote down. These are just the people I wrote down who are playing and healthy. And I want you to really think about this last name I'm going to mention. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Jalen Reagor, Zadarius Smith, Patrick Peterson, Daniel Hunter. And you know who they just signed for tight end? From the Lions, who don't seem to know what the hell they're doing, because they just traded a 25-year-old tight end to Minnesota when this cat's been out here catching a touchdown every single game. He's going to be what Jared Allen was in Kansas City. That's exactly what he's going to be for the Lions. Detroit fans are going to hate that organization when they play Minnesota for the next 10 years because that kid's going to tear them. TJ Hawkinson is going to tear them apart.
They trade when they do that? That was today?
That wasn't today. That was a few days ago. That was the end of the
trade deadline's like over. Yeah, I was like, I didn't even see that one. That's wild.
End of the trade deadline. They traded TJ Hawkinson to the Vikings.
How did I miss that? Holy shit. Did he play? Man. He didn't play this week, did he?
I don't know if he played or not. To be honest, I didn't watch that game.
I didn't. If I would have seen him, I would have been like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, they can go 16-1, and I still won't have faith in them in the postseason.
Yo, listen. I'm glad that Marengo said it though, because if you say that Jimmy G's enough to get it done, you gotta say Kirk is because he's leading him in every stat.
And you know what? Nick Foles, and I hate this. I know he is a god in Philadelphia, and he should be. But do you remember when Nick Foles started? It wasn't ever pretty. He rode a wave in the playoffs and got that chip. Who's to say Kirk Cousins couldn't catch that same wave in the playoffs? I mean, shit, man.
I mean, you know what? And
Case Keenum took them to an NFC championship just a few years ago. Matter of fact, Marengo, you and I were at a pool bar here in Colorado watching that game. And that was Stephon Diggs throwing his helmet and all that crap. That was Case. So Kirk Cousins, yeah, man. Yeah, man. Come on.
I guess only time's gonna tell because we're not gonna agree on this. There's just no way.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I've seen enough of Cousins.
You admit it next week.
I've seen enough of Cousins when it matters to know.
Hey,
we just watched Jimmy Garoppolo step out of the back of an end zone.
All right,
and he was in the conference championship last year.
Exactly. Blake Bortles went to an AFC championship. Okay? Troy Aikman has a bunch of Super Bowls. He wasn't like amazing, right? He managed a good fucking team though. Alex Smith was really damn good when he had Tyreek. I'm just saying, Travis Kelce. All I'm saying.
We are in an era where we are comparing Troy Aikman to Kirk freaking Cousins.
Cowboys fans, get at me.
Oh my god!
At that PK boy on all platforms. Get at me.
Do we have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, man. Let's move on, man. I'm gonna go do a quick review of these predictions for this week, and then we'll go into the surprises if you guys have any for this week. So we got some crazy games coming up this week. We've got Kansas City and the Chargers coming up. That's going to be real interesting. Big playoff game. Could have playoff implications, but that's a big one. Of course, we all got Kansas City going. Some other ones that I'm just kind of taking a look here that are interesting to me is Marengo thinks Carolina's going to beat Baltimore.
Not anymore.
Marengo is also the only one that has Philly beating Indy, so that's interesting.
That's going to happen. They're going to beat.
Yeah, honestly, Denver. We all got Denver beating the Raiders. Another big game for this week. That's what I wanted to talk about. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Before I even get into this, we got Cincinnati at Pittsburgh and then San Francisco at Arizona. Those are a couple of divisional games. But I got to bring this up. Dallas goes into Minnesota this week, so we're going to see who's better. Is it going to be Dak Prescott or Kirk Cousins, man? They play this week. We're going to find out. Oh, shit. Look, we got him doing it.
Listen, Dallas fans. Everybody in DFW, Cowboy Nation, turn your TVs off. You're not going to want to see this game.
Man.
Go. Hey. I don't have anything.
That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to do a quick recap of the week. Generally, I mean, for the most of these, it's kind of crazy. This week, we all have kind of the same picks going. So probably not going to be a ton of changes this week unless one of us is on fire with the scores of those. But do you guys have any surprises from this week? Marengo, I'll throw it at you first, man. What was your biggest surprise from just sports in general in this last week?
It really wasn't from this last week, to be honest. This is actually
you missed
from
a
way
week,
back.
So go ahead.
This is from way back at the trade deadline, and we kind of touched on it, but it really was that TJ Hawkinson trade. It baffles me that a Lions organization who is, for all intensive purposes, should be good, just aren't, and are going to trade away a 25-year-old tight end who has been great for you and taken you to great places in the red zone and caught touchdown passes for you. And you're just going to trade him away for who? And to the Vikings, who are one of the best teams in the entire NFC. It didn't make sense to me. I think the Lions lost their mind as well as their ass on that trade. And it's going to haunt them. It's going to haunt them for the next 10, 15 years. As long as this kid plays, anytime they play Minnesota, that kid's going to have a day, and he's going to remember the Lions.
Damn. Caleb, what you got, man?
I'll make it quick. I'm more on NBA, and this is kind of a shocker to me because it's the Sacramento Kings against the Brooklyn Nets. You should never score 121 points in an NBA game and lose by 32. The Sacramento Kings, who, yeah, they have a De'Aaron Fox. They have a DeMontis Sabonis. They have a Harrison Barnes. How do you lose by 32 to this Sacramento Kings team when you are a Nets team that has Kevin Durant on it? You still have sniper Joe Harris. 32 points. How do you drop 121 points and then go home and say, "Damn, we still lost by 30"? Like that's just not supposed to happen. They had the Kings' leading scorer. I guarantee you've never heard of this person, Terrence Davis. You ever heard of that?
I just did.
Terrence Davis had 31 points for the Kings off the bench.
Does Frank
The next
Mason
leading
still
scorer
play
had
for
no
the
more
Kings?
than. I'm just saying that was my surprising thing. I thought the Nets were finally not moving on from Kyrie per se, but they were finally. I thought maybe they looked like they were starting to hit a stride, and then with no overtime, they let the Sacramento Kings drop 150 on them. That was my surprising moment of the week. Yeah, there's trouble brewing up in Brooklyn.
Wow.
He doesn't even know what to say. Trust me, I didn't either.
I remember hearing that they lost by 30 when we talked about it, but I did forget it was the Kings. That's pretty bad.
That's horrible.
That is terrible. I'm going to throw one more football topic out before we jump out to some NBA stuff. I'm glad that you brought up some NBA. My surprise for the week is actually where the hell did this Justin Fields come from that's putting up all these numbers and then still losing games by one? It does suck that they're losing, but when the hell did he start doing this? I feel like he had a whole season and a half where he was just kind of like quietly figuring it out. And now all of a sudden he was like first quarterback to have over so many passing yards and 175 rushing yards in a game or something like that. Hey, Chicago, you might have somebody there for you. So maybe.
And his name isn't Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, maybe give him someone to throw the damn ball to, though, which would be nice. Give him someone to throw the damn ball to and put an O-line in front of that man. He's been sacked more than anyone else. Has been sacked 36 times this season. Y'all got to figure that out.
Oh.
So that's my top surprise for this week. But we'll jump back over to NBA because, it's already off to a kind of interesting start of the season. The West is in shambles at the moment, with some of our favorites in the Warriors and the Lakers being less than what they're used to being, I guess. So my first question is: are the Denver Nuggets a real contender now with the return of Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr.? Now, I did pose this question yesterday. We kind of figured this out earlier this week, but then yesterday, of course, we find out that Nikola Jokic is possibly going to miss some time due to COVID. But even with that, are the Nuggets a real contender now that they got their team kind of back?
I think they can be, especially this year so far. It looks like the Suns, they're 8-5, but they've been a hot regular season team the last couple of years. The Warriors, I don't know what the hell's going on with them, 6-8.
Draymond punched
the
Jordan
Jazz
Poole in the face.
That certainly will take a toll on a team. The Jazz, they're 10-6. They're third in the conference. I don't see them doing as the season goes on. I think that Cinderella story is going to simmer down a little bit. I am looking out for Luka and the Mavericks. The Trailblazers, they're 10-4. They have a decent team around Dame. I don't see them keeping up that either. I think so long as everybody stays healthy, I sincerely hope Jamal Murray, he looks like he's coming back into form. He just recently had a couple games where he had 20-plus points. He definitely looks like he's going to get his legs underneath him sooner than later. But if there was ever going to be a year, I need Jokic to remain healthy. I need him to play at an MVP level. Jamal Murray looks like he's finally able to get his legs underneath him. I need Michael Porter Jr. If he can just average 14 and 8 boards a game, that is a very solid third guy.
Dude, he's been getting so much better the last 2 seasons.
And he has. And that is a very good – I've said before, he's not going to be your first or second option, but I think he is a damn good third option. And I need Jamal Murray, as long as he remains healthy, as long as Jokic is playing at an MVP level, I don't see why this team could not make it to the Western Conference Finals minimal. Because this year, the Warriors look like they're running out of gas. Looks like maybe they're just getting a little bit older. The Suns, they're the Suns. It's a Chris Paul-led team. I don't see them making much noise. I think if there were a year, I know Jokic has had his MVP years. It is a league of superstars, but you do have to have an all-star caliber player as your two. You do have that in Jamal Murray. If there was ever a year the Nuggets are to actually put the NBA on notice, this is going to be the year to do it.
I agree 100%, dude. I mean, Jokic, he got his second MVP last year, and while I am a Nuggets fan, I did say on this show last week or week before that I do think Embiid did deserve last year's MVP. So I'm not going to try to say two MVPs too much as a point, but because I think that also was only done because we did not have Jamal Murray and MPJ
Right.
for a good portion of the back half of the season. So that I think could have been a reason he got it over Embiid as well. But if he's playing, like you said, at that level and doesn't have to be MVP caliber because we have Jamal and MPJ actually doing something, that would be nice. DeAndre Jordan could start doing something. That would be great too. If he does, that might be something. Aaron Gordon just had a big game, which is nice because he's been kind of just like a mid level player since he came to Denver. If they can really turn it on, the West is wide open like the NFL's NFC right now, right? Like it's wide open right now. The Utah Jazz are looking like a decent team, and they have nobody. The Lakers are bad. Warriors are bad. I know that it's early and they can turn it around, but we got a lot of new teams, and it's kind of crazy to say that Denver now, after a few seasons, has some playoff experience. They've had some ugly series, but a lot of that, again, was with injuries and stuff. So if we can stay healthy, keep everyone there, I think this is the year that they can make a good run. And I'd like to see it because, I am a little afraid of Dallas. I ain't gonna lie, because this dude, Luka, I've never seen somebody carry a team on their back the way that he has. This man literally has nobody and is still carrying teams.
His best teammate is Spencer Dinwiddie.
I mean, that dude is nuts. I mean, like, this dude just straight. I truly believe that Luka pulled the Suns out of it. That would be the team I'd kind of be afraid of the Nuggets running into, of course, because the Suns fucking 4-0'd us a couple years ago. The 4-0 guy, the 4-0 guy that I don't know, man. I just think that this is the year, man. We have you have to have a superstar in this league to win a chip. You have to, and we finally have one in Jokic, and Murray is like right there. I think that we've got a big three in MPJ, Nikola Jokic, and Jamal.
And let me roll back just real quick. He already is averaging MPJ. He's averaging 18. Like he's
he's coming
20.
in.
Like that is scary.
What's his 3-point percentage? Dude's balling right now.
So as of right now, he's shooting 43%. No, this season he's shooting 48% from three.
That's what I'm saying.
Scorching.
He's balling.
That is scorching.
Balling. So let's see if they can maintain that. We're 10 games, 11 games into the season, so might be too early, but I think that they should be definitely considered a contender. I think they'll be a top 3 team in the West at this pace.
Absolutely. I agree.
Did you have anything you want to throw in on this, Marengo?
No, I mean, y'all hit the nail right on the head. I think they have just as much of a chance as everybody else, and they look damn good as long as everybody stays healthy. So, you know who I'm pulling for.
Yeah, I know you're pulling for that. That takes me to my next topic, man. I'll let you jump in on this next one, and I'll give this one to you first, Marengo. What NBA team in the entire league is under the most pressure to win a title this season? This year right now. They need it. Most pressure.
Ooh. I think you should pass it to Caleb.
All right. I'm gonna give you a minute on that one. I'm gonna give you a minute. Caleb, what you got over here, man?
It took me a little bit to kind of I had to think about it because you have the Milwaukee's in the world, but they've won one in the last few years.
I can tell you who if y'all got to think about it.
I know who.
Who is it?
The Lakers, but they won one in the bubble. There's a team I think that's pressured to win right now. It's Boston.
Really?
It's Boston. They just got there. Jason Tatum he's on his way to becoming a top 3 player in this league. Jaylen Brown, who is very capable of giving you 22, 23, and 8 and 5 a night. They are destined. And I think, I'm not saying they're going to win because Milwaukee, that is a buzzsaw. So long as Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Chris Middleton can stay healthy, I still think the East is going to go through Milwaukee. But Boston, I think they are under the most pressure to win now. Their point guard just won Defensive Player of the Year last year. They have Jason Tatum. They have Jaylen Brown. I know they have a lot of coaching issues at the start of this year before the year started.
Udoka, man, why couldn't you just?
Yeah,
I ain't gonna go into.
No,
it,
you're
bro.
good. You're good. I think as of right now, I think they are under the most pressure, which I feel like is a bit unfair. You can't put the most pressure on the Warriors. They just won. Boston, who was in the finals last year, who legit they thought they had a chance, and I think they're hungry to get back. They started out a little bit slow, but as of right now, they're looking like they're 11-3, and I think they're hungry, and I think they're going to be the team. I think they're going to beat Milwaukee this year. We'll see. It's still a little bit too early, but I think they are under the most pressure to finally bring one home.
I'll tell you what, man. I can see why. I hear you. I respectfully disagree. I think that they have some pressure for sure. I think any team that goes and loses the finals has some pressure the next year, right, to get it done. But I don't really know what their contract situation looks like. I don't think they're losing any major pieces at the end of this year to free agency. They've got a really young team. I think that they've got time to get it figured out. Jason Tatum ain't going anywhere, right? I doubt that Marcus Smart will. But I'll tell you who I think's under some real pressure that if it's not this year, it just may not happen. The Phoenix Suns. And I'll tell you because, yeah, Devin Booker may be young and he's that dude, but, they've had 2 or 3 real, at least the last 2 seasons have been kind of bad endings for them. They should have won it 3 seasons ago or at least went. And CP3's getting up there, man. I mean, this might be his last season. It might be his last. And honestly, when it came playoff time, he's the one who's pulling these wins out. It ain't D-Book. D-Book actually is the regular season guy because he comes in there in the playoffs and he looks like a B-level player. CP3's out
Sometimes
there.
Not even that.
What was it last year? He was 13 for 13 and had like 32 points to barely win one of those games. And then they let Dallas come back and beat him in a series. You let Luka single-handedly beat y'all out last year. And I think that took a lot of their will to even play anymore. So I think that
Luka torched him.
Right. So if you guys want to get that chip, this could be CP3's last year playing at the level that he's playing. I don't think he's got too much left in the tank. I think, if anything, there's damn for sure a lot more pressure than there are with the Celtics. I've been hearing a lot about Ayton over there, and he may be going somewhere because of some weird issue with coaching or something. I don't want to get too into it because I don't remember all the details correctly, but they just sound like they got it rough a little bit right now. They're starting off they're 8-5, so they're doing okay so far. But pressure, man, I'll tell you, might be the last year before that team gets split up and disintegrated.
Now, is it more pressure for Chris Paul or is it more pressure for the team? Because I feel like most of that pressure would be on Chris Paul.
For sure, a lot of it's on Chris Paul because he's never gotten one. That's obviously a big part for him on a personal level. But I'm saying as the team because of the fact that Chris Paul is one of the 2 big stars on that team. He is a big reason they make the playoffs at the seeding level that they do. And he's a big reason that they even get as far in the playoffs as they do. The man balls out during playoffs. Every game last season, pull up the box scores. Every game that he did not perform well last year, they lost that game.
Oh, they lost.
Every single time he did not have 30 points, they lost that game. If he didn't have a double-double, they weren't getting that dub. And that's just the unfortunate truth. D-Book will not clutch it out. So if CP3 retires next season, what are the Suns going to be, right? What are they going to do? Because D-Book has already shown that he's not going to do it himself. He's going to need another piece. Not saying they can't go get it, but because of the fact they already have CP3 and they have him right now, yeah, they got some pressure, I would say, above most other teams. Like the Lakers, like you said, they won one in the bubble. The Warriors won one last year. You could maybe say Denver because they've never won one and they're always having really shitty playoff runs. But, they're a young team. Nikola Jokic is my age. They're going to figure it out, right? I just don't really see any other team that I feel the same way about. The Bucks are good. Celtics are young. They're good. Miami Heat, I think, are going to be fine. Maybe the Heat because they've lost too, but like I don't know, man. The Suns, I feel like just got to have that pressure. Marengo, you've had 10 minutes probably. I don't know how long it's exactly spent. Who you got, man? I thought you were, and I'll say I thought the reason I gave it to you first because I thought you were gonna say Celtics first because I know that you got some love for them. But who are you thinking?
I was gonna say Boston, and then you said pressure, and Boston's gonna be good for a very long time. I want them to win right now, and so does the entire city of Boston and that organization. And I think they are very capable. But if they don't, I don't think it's the end of the world if they don't win one this year or next year. When I'm looking through, honestly, it's the Lakers that pops out to me, man. They've got a lot of age on that roster. I know LeBron is just a god that lives in the hyperbolic time chamber or some shit. But the rest of the team, man, the rest of their talent's getting old. I know Anthony Davis is still looking good, but you mentioned it earlier. I mean, as these players get old, you mentioned about Chris Paul, that he's going to start falling off, man. Russell Westbrook has proved to be unreliable. I know they got Dennis Schroeder, but I don't know, man. I think if they're going to make any kind of a run, they still need to add a couple more pieces or at least get Russell Westbrook back to decent form where he can average 15, 20 points a game. And
he's been better off the bench, which is crazy. He's shooting 67%. He's back to being Westbrook.
But I don't know, man. I would damn near say the Lakers.
See, the only argument I have with that is they've been so bad, so putrid. Nobody is expecting them to win. That's the issue. LeBron, yes, he shouldn't be even putting up 25 a game at age 67. But
LeBron's just riding out time until Bronny gets in the league. That's all he's doing.
And you know what? That's great. But there's no pressure on them because nobody expects them to even make a play-in situation. That's the only argument I have with that. They're not good. They're just not good.
I am really glad that you brought up Boston, though, Caleb, because you mentioned Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. And these dudes are just ballers, dude. Boston just looks so damn good for no reason. They're a great
Hurt me to
team.
say it.
I do think that Milwaukee, you are right, is a buzzsaw to run into. But other than Milwaukee, I don't think there's anybody holding them back.
I think those two teams are going to be good for the next 5 years, though. Like minimum. Yeah. Like so, that's why I think the pressure for either of those teams is at a low. Giannis just got one. Boston has proven that they're good. They just had a coaching situation, so I don't think that they necessarily have that pressure like a team.
And Giannis is still only 27.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Giannis is going to win 2 more for the Bucks. Like we know it's going to happen because as of right now, really the only team he's got to worry about is Boston. So,
and I don't think the Miamis you have to worry about. Toronto's you don't have to worry about. At least right now, I think is
the NBA is so different. It's a series. Yeah. It's not one and done. It's a series, and I think that Boston and Milwaukee will split appearances for the next 4 seasons, 2 and 2.
I would agree.
So, Well, I mean, we got our picks. I want to throw out a little sneak peek or sneak preview for next week. We're all going to be doing some too early predictions now for the NBA, and we're going to release those next week on the show. So we're going to be having all of our seedings that we picked out, along with who we've got representing East and West. Might even do the conference finals for that as well as the league MVP, finals MVP. So we're going to all kind of throw in some too early predictions for the NBA as well. And I'm really excited to get into that. We'll have something on it. So sounds like we're going to see Milwaukee and Boston in those a lot, but really excited to let those out. But I appreciate everybody that watches the show. Appreciate you guys being on. As always, if you guys are going to put any bets in on these sports this weekend, please use my promo codes below. Help you get some free bets, anything like that, and it really helps out the podcast. So, appreciate you guys, and until next week, we'll see you guys later.